Hey, Jess here. Wanted to do another vlog. I'm currently really dreadfully hungover in bed, sleeping in, but hopefully I'll sleep it off in time to make it to a cafe and post this video. I'm not posting my regular weekly updates. I did an update for my 2 month mark with my friend Mason. We talked about some cool stuff, but it was on a friend's computer, and so I'm kind of waiting for her to have time to upload it. So I'm not sure, if or when that's going to get done. So I figured, you know, I'd throw in a little bit of an update at this point, and I wanted to talk a little bit about gender processing and my experiences lately with that. So, firstly, I am, what's today? Oh, okay. I'm 9 weeks on testosterone today. I'm also cuddling with my poodle. Look at how sweet she is. Look at her. She's so snoozy. Good girl. Good girl. Um, right. Okay. So, yeah, 9 weeks on testosterone today. Um, there have been a few changes. For instance, I'm getting a little bit of hair right here. And I'm not sure. I feel like my face shape has changed more, notably recently. Um, and yeah, body hair, I guess I've gotten a little bit more of. My treasure trail is coming in more, but I mean, it's all really, really gradual still. I'm feeling really anxious to get to the point where the changes are more notable. So, um, yeah, so gender processing. I've been watching a lot of videos from people uh, who um, are either struggling to decide whether or not they want to go on testosterone or have finally chosen to go on testosterone, but only having vlogged for years, like these intensive gender processes to come to that decision. And I wasn't vlogging when I was going through that part of my transition, but I wanted to talk a little bit about it now because I think that there are people who agonize over whether or not they should transition, and there are people who hear about transgender people and think, "Oh God, that's me," and surely there's a lot of gender processing that still goes on at that point, and that's still something that people need to work through. Um, but if you don't like hear about trans people and go, that's unquestionably me, like, thank God I'm a man, or I'm a woman or whatever. I feel like there's a different sort of process involved to kind of figure out what you want for yourself, and it's not as simple necessarily as going, oh, okay, I'm a man, so I guess I will pursue that body and go for that transition, and that's what I want. And I'm not sure. I think it might be a symptom of being genderqueer, but I'm sure that it can also stem from other things as well. I know for myself, I went back and forth for years. Like, I'd say my dysphoria has been present throughout my entire life, but it really kind of showed up about 2 years ago in a real way. Although 4 years ago, I remember in first year university, I remember in high school actually, like going to school, bound and packing, and like, you should have seen me in high school. Like, I had a long, long hair and wore women's clothing, but even though I couldn't so much get the courage to present the way I wanted to present, I'd subtly do things with my body that would make me feel more comfortable. So it's been present, but it's been my experience that my dysphoria has been sort of wave-like. Like, there's been points where, it really hit me. Like, I remember it first really hitting me and me going like, okay, something's up here. I'm thinking, I know about trans people, I'm thinking a lot about my body, I'm thinking a lot about whether or not I could ever feasibly transition. And then agonizing about that for a few months. The dysphoria would kind of peter off, and then I'd be like, oh God, thank God I didn't do that. What was I thinking? Oh my God, I guess I was just having like some strange, not valid freak out for no reason, which is not usually what these things are linked to. Um, there's a lot of feeling. There's a lot of feeling like I might be crazy, that sort of thing. And then the dysphoria would come back, and stronger usually. A few months later, and then I was like, oh my God, no, this is actually a thing. I'm probably trans. Oh my God, what am I gonna do? And then it would kind of peter off again and be like, oh my God, thank God I didn't do that. I'm so happy being a dyke. I just, and that relief and fear, and then relief with when my dysphoria would sort of subside. I think a lot of it is linked to my history in the dyke community, and how much I found myself in that community, and fears around no longer fitting as an object of desire in that community, or as someone who has a right to desire within that community. So feeling like as a male, or more specifically I think as a masculine person whose masculinity is congruent with their sex, really freaked me out, because I think that my gender queerness stemmed a lot from this incongruence between my masculinity and my physicality at that point. And that's what I felt people were attracted to in me, and that was the basis of butch experience. And as much as I've never really been butch, that's what I was kind of clinging to, is like my last feasible identity that I could own before I had to just kind of give up the female-bodied gig and realize my trans identity. So that continued for quite a few years, and I see that in the videos of other people on YouTube who are kind of like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I think I might be trans, and then no, I don't think I'm trans, and then like that back and forth. Like I think that there's that sort of like wave-like element to our thinking, especially about when we're thinking about things that are dangerous or pose a great deal of change or overhaul to our entire lives. Like, as much as those are things that you don't necessarily want to jump into and so you want to process, those are also things that, if they need to happen, kind of won't just go away. And that isn't to say that everybody who experiences dysphoria is going to, that I believe that everybody who experiences dysphoria is going to at one point jump into medical transition and then realize, that's right, I needed medical transition and this is what is right for me. Like, different things are right for everyone, right? Like, everyone's different. But I don't know, I think I just wanted to kind of share my experience of that, just in case there are people out there who could relate, because I think that one thing that I was really relieved about finding on YouTube were voices that weren't sure of themselves, were people who were working through their fears and doubts, and processing their transitions. And I think that, one thing that I found really helpful, and I would always sort of subconsciously look for, were people's videos where they were expressing doubts that I could relate to about transition. Like, I just don't know if I can do it because of this, but I really want to, kind of, sometimes, but I don't know if I really want to. And then, finding out much later that they had gone on testosterone, I was like, yes, okay, so maybe that means that I will wind up on testosterone and be very, very happy. Because that's mainly what I wanted. And since starting testosterone, I hadn't noticed it at first, but I mean, as much as I still think about gender, it's in a much healthier way. And lately, my processing hasn't so much been like, do I or don't I want to stay on testosterone? There was a lot of that at first. And lately that's sort of petering off as I'm becoming more and more confident and content with the changes that I'm seeing at this point. And allowing myself to feel like I have a sense of agency in when I stop testosterone if I ever want to. Like, I can stop this process whenever I want to. And none of the irreversible changes that I see so far are something that I'd be opposed to having on my body for the rest of my life. So that's okay. So that helps me calm down, but also I'm passing a lot more now, and I'm feeling more confident and more at peace with my body. And you know, when I was doing all this heavy gender processing, it was just like constantly agonizing over this, especially by the time I actually decided to go on testosterone. It was just, it had reached like the waves had come together and it had reached this like constant sort of like, I thought about it all the time, all the time. There was not a single waking second that I wasn't thinking about it and wondering if I should just go on T. So yeah, and I don't know, lately things have been kind of resolving themselves that way, and I'm allowing myself to be able to focus on other things, and that's such a relief, like, to not have to deal with that anxiety anymore. And I still, I find myself, when I process my gender now, processing it like wondering if I want to be on testosterone because of this person in my life. I'm not talking about anyone specifically right now, but there might be someone in my life who I have a connection to, and they have an investment in me being female bodied. You know what I mean? Like people who, like ex-partners who have experienced you being female, and you still feel their connection to your female body, and you know, friends who connected with you, you know, butch to butch, and like just, I don't know, different people around you that might link you to your history as a female-bodied person. And for me, I'm very sensitive to people's investments in my life, so what people want for me and what people want from me, and it's very hard for me to connect with what I want for myself and to not give into the pressures of what people want for me. Because I like to, you know, I've always really focused on putting what I want aside and focusing on sort of, you know, making other people happy. And a part of that isn't, you know, this sort of gallant thing. A part of that is fear, you know, that if I can't make the people around me happy or give them what they want from me, then, I don't know, maybe they'll leave, maybe they'll, you know, not be as invested in me at all as a person. So yeah, those are just like some of the pressures that maybe that still affect me now, and definitely affected me when I was going through my big ebbs and flows of you know, gender processing a couple of years ago. That would make me, you know, heave that sigh of relief when my dysphoria was at a low, and I could think, oh, okay, well, I can exist this way. And existing some way, you know, just kind of like saying, I can do this, I don't know, like we should do what makes us happy, you know? We should make decisions for us. And I mean, yeah, that's what's important. I mean, at the end of the day, you've only really got yourself, right? So I don't know. Yeah, so that's, I don't know, that's pretty much all I have to say on that. And wish me luck in getting over my hangover. And yeah, hopefully this video isn't too long, and I'll catch you guys later. Okay, bye.